Hey, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Behind the Franchise. I'm your host, Paul Ellinger, and I'm super excited. We've got our first married couple on the show today. Everybody, please welcome Ashley and Dan from Petbar. Guys, thanks for joining us.
Oh, thank you.
Thank
Thanks for
you.
having us.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, no, I'm super excited for it. I think it's going to be a fun show. Maybe if you could, just for the audience, give us your quick backgrounds. How the heck did y'all end up, as the founders and operators of Petbar?
Well, it started in 2015. We launched our first location there out of a need, out of necessity. We found ourselves kind of without anything. We were coming out of the gym business, the tanning business. We had closed down our tanning salons, and we were like, wow, what's our next step? Fast food, or, what is it going to be? We actually stumbled into a self-wash facility and here in Dallas area, and felt that energy, that Starbucks energy that we love,
Yeah.
that good, boutique fitness kind of, vibe.
Yeah.
And I told Ashley at the time, I said, hey, let's explore this. This has some energy. This has some legs to it somehow. Let's see what it's all about. And we got into the vet space, and also we got into more of the kennel. And we were looking around at our different options within the industry itself and consulting. But at the end of the day, the grooming side was the real need. And
Yeah.
after exploring some grooming salons, and also just remembering when I was younger and going with my grandmother to drop off her schnauzers and what it smelled like, and the dirty and the feel
Sure.
and everything else there. It was like, it was just a win-win. We started into our first salon there in October of 2015.
That's awesome. And so tell me more about that. You were saying you were experiencing the problem yourself. Like, what was that personal experience you guys were having that, was the impetus to say, hey, maybe we should start looking here?
Yeah, we had a little schnauzer named Bella, and
Yeah.
our groomer, we used to just take her to a groomer that was working out of her house, and she was like the schnauzer groomer. And so we really loved her. She did a great job. And then she got divorced and moved away. So we were stuck going,
You lost the schnauzer groomer.
we
Yeah.
lost our schnauzer. So that's when we kind of started going into the self washes and kind of looking into places that we were like, okay, what's a place that we would want to drop our dog off, and trust them, and come back and love the haircut.
Yeah.
We just had a hard time finding it. We just were like, everywhere we went was like, oh, it smells like pee, or it's just not clean, and it's not
Sure.
super inviting at the front, welcoming. So that's kind of how it began.
Request.
Yeah. Yeah. And maybe tell me about the early times. So you launch in October, and, obviously here we are years later, dozens of locations later. What were those early days like? Like when you were first getting it off the ground, like when did you start feeling like, hey, maybe we've got something here?
Well, it was kind of interesting when we called to start doing build out and stuff. We called one provider, and told them how many tubs we were going to buy. And I remember they were trying to talk us out of that. That is the craziest. We're going to have 6, 7 tubs, and what would be the need there? They really couldn't understand it. They couldn't wrap their hands around it, and they were actually trying to turn themselves, down in money.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But that's really when we started that build and stuff like that. We started the build. Everything kind of came together. The actual build, it was funny. When we went to build our second one, we had all these grand ideas of making changes.
Yeah.
We didn't build the same exact thing on the second round. I mean,
Size.
almost identical. It was identical by a couple of feet, you know what I mean, as far as size goes. But it just made a lot of sense. So that's the early days, if you want to say. The early days were tough. It was trying to figure out the model, trying to figure out how to get this thing going, trying to employ the people that we needed. We weren't sure about on staffing and stuff, and we also weren't real sure if people would buy a subscription to a dog membership. I mean, it just really was kind of are people going to buy that? Back in 2015.
Yeah, it was kind of a new concept. Yeah.
New concept, but it did. When we launched, Within about 6 months, I was like, "Wow, we have legs here." We were,
That's cool.
cars were showing up, dogs were jumping out of cars to get into the store. It was kind of a phenomenon, and we took off. The community had a real need,
Hmm.
and that was the Highland Park area, and it just really, honestly, it just took off for us.
Yeah.
I remember we'd have calls from marketers and stuff like that, people trying to market on the business and stuff. And I was like, I need something to shut it down.
Like
To
slow it down a
slow
little.
it down.
The brakes on.
Yeah, we got to figure out what we're doing here first.
Yeah. So that was really interesting. I've never seen a business or felt a business, anything like that, just take off quite like that. So
Yeah.
even in the tanning salon business and the heyday of that and the gym business, it was really a phenomenon. And it was really nice that the community needed something of this need.
Yeah.
And we really flowed into it very well.
Yeah. Was the intent to start off as franchising? Were you always going to become a franchise, or what was the story into when you realized, hey, maybe this gets bigger than Highland Park, bigger than just us? When did you guys get into that?
Oh, we did a lot of coin flipping.
Okay, it was chance all the way through.
Exactly. It was, hey, if it works, let's go with it. And
Yeah.
so when we actually went into franchising, we didn't know if it would be a franchisable model or not.
Sure.
We were hoping it would be, but we were looking at corporate. We were looking at, hey, would we just open up,
Sure.
a few locations ourselves, or would we, try and do a franchise? So when we started into the franchise, it took off, and we started selling. We really started getting traction right off the bat.
Yeah.
So we knew we had something there.
Yeah. No, that's exciting. And what was the expansion method? Like how were you choosing those first franchisees? How did you know who would be a good fit for the brand as you started to grow it?
I honestly would have to say they chose us. We were, you're not real selective because, hey, we
We
really
wanted to
need
grow.
somebody. We want to see what this is all about. We didn't
Yeah.
know. We really
Yeah.
didn't know. We weren't in the franchise side of things. So it took us a while to figure out what that real customer or that actual franchisee
Hmm.
would look like and such. So that took some time. That took some educational piece
Yeah.
there as well, and moving along.
I mean, it's a passion-based business, so they have to have somewhat of a love for dogs, not just,
Yeah.
I want to make money.
Yeah.
Because they do have to find those passionate people to build their team and to run the store. So
Yeah. The nice.
That was one thing we really did. That was one question we'd always have right off the bat. Do you love animals?
Yeah.
And love dogs and everything else? Because that's an important feature when you're dealing with
100%.
dogs. And we even say we have dog days where it's poop and pee, and honestly, all of it that come along with
barking
it.
dogs.
I was gonna say kind of all of the above, right?
Yeah, so you've got to have you can't be freaked out by those items. You've
Yeah.
got to really be able to incorporate it and move along with that.
Yeah. Well, and I think, nowadays, like people take their pets so seriously as well. Like they are a part of the family now. So I have to imagine like that's probably gotten easier. There's more and more and more passionate people as the time has gone on, I'd have to guess. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
People love their pets even more than their kids, I think. So.
Well, they talk back less, I love that, and I think it's a common thing. We hear it a lot, right? Like going from owning the business to franchising the business. You're basically running a second business now, right? And you've mentioned a little bit of it there, Dan. But like, what were the biggest learning curves for you guys when you decided to jump into franchising and get away from it all being corporate owned?
Great question. It really was a balancing act, to be honest, because we honestly we have 4 locations under our belt at the moment too.
Yeah.
We have brought in our family. It's a family affair now.
Yeah.
All of our children are involved in it, and
Love that.
especially our daughter and son-in-law that's in Houston own a location there.
Mhm.
So the rest of them are 3, and we're wishing to open up a 4th at the moment
Yeah.
at present. But yeah, looking for the right franchisee was extremely important.
Yeah.
And the right person that made sense of it all and understood it and understood what the need was, especially with staffing and stuff. one of my very first franchisees told me, he goes, he came from he was a CEO, he ran a lot of folks.
Yeah.
But he said, these hourly folks, it's a lot different.
Yeah, sure.
I had 12 of them coming in for interviews one day, and only 2 of them showed up. And I said, "That's pretty good."
That's good.
Yeah, it's like good job, and he's like, "Wow, this is a terrible failure. Like, what am I doing?"
But they're passionate. I would have to tell you that, like I said, we hire folks that are passionate about the business, that want to be in the business and love the business. So that's our theme of things. We're the Disney World, we call it, of dogs. That's where we want to land and be. So that's super important to us. So it's just getting around the humps there of figuring it all out and learning, and it's a big difference from entrepreneurship, which I'm very familiar with. I've been doing it for 35 years, to owning business, to corporate world, to franchising. And the one common theme you'll hear is, once you get into franchising, you never get out. I find that to be somewhat true. It is. It's fun. It's exciting. There's always things going along and coming at you.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and it's a great growth model, right? Like, if you do want to grow your business, it's exciting. It's scary because you are bringing a lot of people in. People are investing like their wealth and their future wealth into things, and I think it's a big risk, but I think it's one that pays off, and it's, to your point, an exciting place to be.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I love to ask this question. I was just talking to Jamie Stigliano, who's the CEO at Diva Dance. Her and her husband run that franchise together. How do you guys, what's the recipe for harmony? How do you guys separate work and home? Do you separate work and home? What does the dynamic look like?
I would say a lot of patience.
I guess that's got to be the number one trait.
Especially on my part. No. I would say, in the beginning, there was no way to separate it. It was
just you had to be all in.
Everyday petbar.
Yeah.
But we've slowly tried to make it, okay, once we get home from the office, okay, we're going to try and not discuss it quite as much. It still comes up. But we try, and if we go on vacation, we don't really, we try to completely remove ourselves from it. So.
But our kids have had an educational piece, because we've talked about it so much at the dinner table, and everything else, that they've listened to petbar over and over and over.
They could tout all of it just like you guys could, I would bet.
Yeah, so
ingrained.
But to be honest with you, we know our strengths and weaknesses. We know who's better at this, who's better at that, and that really helps.
Yeah.
I think if we were newlyweds, this would be
a little more challenging.
Very tough.
Yeah.
But, being married 22 years and understanding each other quite a bit, and our strengths and weaknesses, it really helps. She's more back office. I'm more operational, more fun, sales and everything else, and it just works out.
Yeah. No, I think it makes a ton of sense. I think that's spot on, where it's like knowing each other's strength. It's no different than any other team, right? Like, you could argue with anybody if everybody's stepping on each other's toes, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm curious. So we talked about it a little bit, right? Like the membership model. I think that was something new, that you guys are really innovating on and bringing into the market. Is that now commonplace? Like, do you feel like there is no education with the consumer now? Like, everybody's like, yeah, of course I'd get a membership model. Or where do you kind of see that going over the next few years?
Subscription model. I think it's, it just keeps moving along at a pace. Almost everything is drafted one way or the other these days. Yeah. And I think it's even more with the younger folks. It definitely feels like it's more a part of what they're used to and what's going on there. So you're drafted everything from electricity bill to car payment to Visa, MasterCard.
All of the above. Yeah, I think I don't even know if I look at a bill every month, if I'm going to be honest with you. I think I've got it all on auto so I don't forget anything.
But in the pet space, it was a nuance. It was a nuance that I feel like it was interesting. And our very first folks that signed up are still actually members of petbar.
Oh, that's awesome.
So that's really awesome. So, it was an interesting time to see if it would work. Again, flipping the coin, seeing if that would operate correctly. If
Yeah.
not, we would have to retrack and try something else.
Yeah. And kind of diving into your service a little bit, I know you have like full service and self service. What's the breakdown there? Like, how often are people really taking advantage of self service versus wanting to do it? Are there certain types of consumers that prefer one or the other? I'm assuming you guys had to have learned a ton just from having the differentiation in offers there.
Absolutely. Yeah, differentiators. In our particular areas where most of our stores are, it's a wealthy group, and a lot of the times they're not using that self as much
Sure.
as in other territories, other areas of development that we've gone into, especially in more of an apartment settings, younger crowd. Maybe they don't have the luxury to spend as much on their pets,
Sure.
so they like that uniqueness of the self wash as well.
Yeah.
So it depends on the store, it depends on the location, and what that customer's needs are.
Yeah. Yeah. It's nice to be able to meet them where they want to be. It's like you don't have to turn anybody away from it.
No.
Exactly. We want to have something for everyone that walks in the door.
Yeah. Yeah. And you kind of talk about it being the Disney World for pets. Like, I think one thing I always love in franchising is like, you guys have such personalities, right? Like, it's clear that you guys really represent the brand. Like, Dan, you've always got a great quip or a quote or something to run with it whenever we talk. How do you guys think about, as you continue to grow, maintaining that, right? And making sure that the people you're bringing on buy into the brand values, buy into, the story you're really telling, because you've got a narrative, right? And you want to keep building this. How do you think about that as you continue to grow nationally?
We're 32 stores right now, and we are still very, very involved. I mean, the franchisees can pick up their phone and call us.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And we know that they have to buy into us.
Yeah.
When they say, okay, let me sign a franchise agreement. So I still feel like in bringing our family in as well, that they can continue that culture.
Yeah, you guys are walking the talk for sure.
We've built.
We had one couple that came in. They were from Argentina. They bought down in Florida.
Yeah.
And they were franchisees. And it was really nice when they came in and explored the store. They had already purchased. So they had already signed and everything.
Yeah.
They were done. They were going. But
they've committed.
Meet us and see what the store would look like. And it was really nice when we heard them say, wow, it beat the expectations.
That's cool.
It even made the expectations. They said, meeting you guys, seeing the store was really, really icing on the cake.
Yeah.
And we were excited about that. And they turned out to be fantastic franchisees.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, that is exciting. You got to love when the product is as good as you say it is, right? Like, that's always a good thing. We talked on it a little bit, but like, I think with, especially the millennial generation, Gen Z, pets are becoming more and more and more important. People are spending more money on it. How do you think, in the years you guys have been doing this, how has consumer expectation changed around pet care, since you started petbar versus to where we are today?
I think it's more enhanced. We have a robust customer base, especially ever since COVID. Wow. One day we had 14, we called them COVID babies, come in. One particular day.
That's crazy.
So, it was an interesting time.
Yeah.
It emptied out all the rescues and all the SPCAs, if you recall, all of those folks, all those dogs were going to happy, better homes, hopefully, and everything. And so we see a lot more of a robust customer base.
Sure.
They still are loving our features. They still love what we have to offer. Mm-hmm. And we really stick to that as well. We've stayed in our lane, per se. We're not looking for the wellness side of things as much as we are the good time Charlie. That's really our aim. We really want the dogs to enjoy themselves coming in. I don't want them to have that vet experience.
Yeah, where they're like nervous, skittery, and all that. Yeah.
And all that. So that's really our side of things. Others have gone the other route, and we're the wellness side. We are really into the good times, the Disney World.
Yeah.
Experience.
Yeah, it's the spa experience for your pet. Give them it's their opportunity to go live life a little bit. And you brought up COVID. I mean, crazy time to be running a business. maybe walk us through that. What did you guys do? To survive, to thrive coming out of it. Like, how did business look during those years?
That was a wild time. And
Probably unique to your 35 years of entrepreneurship, yeah, Dan?
Yes.
exactly. So here we are. We have our first location. We're opening up our second one. It was April of 2020 when we opened our second one. We were smack
That's
dab
crazy.
in COVID. And I don't know if you recall, but it was the 6 foot. Across from us was Trader Joe's at this particular location. Mm-hmm. At Trader Joe's, there's a 6 foot definition of how far you can stand.
Sure, yeah.
That stuff. And so it was really, really an interesting time. We didn't know how to behave. In fact, we had it was a food provider that was next door to us. Mm-hmm. That was really a large provider. And I'll never forget, they came in one morning and they told everybody there that they were going to arrest everybody that day if they didn't shut down operations.
Oh, wow.
This was Dallas. This was scary stuff.
That's crazy.
Wow, what's going on here? And the manager was really upset. She couldn't get in touch with corporate. Corporate was out of California and it was on a different timeline.
Sure.
It was early morning.
Oh, man.
Long story short, we went through a lot of that. I remember we were doing the construction. I was talking to the GC and everybody, and he was like, this whole COVID thing, it's nothing. It's going to blow through. It's nothing. And there was no worries. And it did. It came along and it was interesting. We were able to successfully open the store. We did fantastic opening the store. And the store really performed correctly.
Yeah.
The only thing was we eliminated the self-wash. We couldn't have
makes sense.
In. And also we were going out to the cars, retrieving dogs that way.
Oh, and bringing them in, yeah.
Curbside.
That was kind of interesting.
Curbside pickup. Drop your dog off, get a new dog coming back. It's going to be fresh and pampered.
We were like, wow, is this going to be a VIP membership that we're going to have to deliver later on?
Like, red carpet, picking their dog up.
Red carpet treatment and everything else. So we weren't sure how that would play out. That was interesting. But even afterwards, we had some of our clientele that still like to call.
Sure, yeah. Hey, I'm here.
Even today, we still do. But
that's funny.
It was an interesting time, and it was a very scary time for us.
100%,
we weren't even sure if we could open up. We contacted Dallas County there and asked, I sent them an email and said, "Are you sure we're cutting dogs' hair? Are we able to operate and be open?" And they actually came back to us and said, "Yeah, you're fine to open. You're considered an essential business."
That is, that's good luck.
We contacted our staff, said, "Hey, are you still interested?" They said yes, and we went ahead about operations.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I have to imagine just like being nimble through that, like you just had to have learned so much about the business, because I feel like you had to be so operationally successful to be able to like operate through that successfully.
Yeah,
for sure.
Absolutely.
For
yeah
sure.
I love that. And I'm curious, so as you think about petbar moving forward, right, what does it look like in 10 years? How do you guys think you're going to continue to grow? What's going to stay the same? What's going to change in the petbar experience as you go?
Well, we're on fire for petbar for sure. I mean, we love petbar. We wish we'd have done this, 15 years earlier.
Yeah.
It's been a good, true love affair. It's been a fantastic business for us. Where we land in 10 years, I don't know. I'd love to have a place in Costa Rica and hang out and have 250 pet bars and all that stuff or more.
Yeah.
A lot has to do with our children. They're definitely at that age. They need to make decisions too, and where we are, but we love it and we want to continue operations.
Growing it.
We don't know anything else. I don't. I mean, I'm a business guy and it runs through my blood. So I couldn't sit on the beach and drink martinis every day. That wouldn't be fun, after a while.
I talk to my wife about that all the time as well. Is like, retirement doesn't sound that fun. Like I would still like to do stuff, like maybe play a little more golf, but like still want to be doing some stuff,
You gotta have a purpose.
Exactly. Exactly.
I think we are with the 250 would be fantastic. That's where we like to land. I think that many stores is equatable to 10 years from now, at least.
What would we change?
What would we change?
Probably just technology, just keeping up with the technology and the trends.
Yeah.
AI. However we can incorporate that.
We had a potential franchisee yesterday said he did a lot of study and he just does not see AI taking over the pet business as far as the care.
Sure.
Grooming.
Robots grooming the dog. Yeah.
It was kind of interesting to listen to him. He's done a deep dive and he really understands. He's done a lot of study on it and such, and that was interesting for him to come back and say that. So that was good.
There's no one size fits all on dogs. So.
No.
Yeah. Well, it makes sense. Yeah, I think robots are advancing, but watching a dog's a whole different game.
Yes.
They're a little more squirrely. I love that. And jumping into our final section of the show, we always do some quick hitter questions. We thought it would be fun, since you guys are married, to do a which of you is more likely. So as I ask the question, just point to the one, yourself or the other, who you think is more likely to do the thing I asked. Does that all sound good?
Sounds good.
All right. So the first one, which of you is more likely to come up with like a wild new idea for Pet Bar? What is the last one you came up with? The crazy last idea you had?
That's a great question. I think more of a robust membership. That was really strong.
Yeah.
I'm always shooting for things. We talked about a podcast, like Paul. And
I was going to say, hey, here you go. You already started. This is episode 1 of your podcast.
So we're in deep talks on a podcast.
Hear me out. Bring dogs onto the podcast. It would kill. People would love it. Highlighted dog of the week.
No, I don't know. That's probably, we've gone through the gamut of a lot of items. We've eliminated some items. We've come up with some great
iteration
along the way.
Yeah. Which of you is more likely to insist on a last minute change right before a grand opening?
Me.
We'll take that for what it is. Which of you is more likely to make friends with a franchisee's or a client's dog before the franchisee or the client themselves?
Both of us on that one. I would say both.
We know all the dogs. Like if we're working in the store, which we don't do as often right now, but I know all the dogs' names.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big thing. Knowing the dogs' names. I mean, it's a funny one. Sometimes we can name off that dog, and we see the dogs walking around, but we don't know the customers.
Oh yeah, you're like, hey Georgie, and then the person's just like, how do you know my dog? That's funny. Which of you is more likely to be answering emails at midnight for the business? Yeah. And then last one, which one of you is more likely to spoil your dogs the most?
Spoil? Me.
I'd say you.
Good. Well, that was it. That was the end of the section. Thank you guys for doing that. I always like to, at the end of the episode, like a late night show host, just say, hey, well, you've got the minute, tell people where they can find you online, what they should know about what's upcoming with Pet Bar, and give a chance to kind of give your spiel.
Yeah, well, check us out on www.petbarinc.com and follow us on Petbar Inc. on Instagram.
Perfect.
And we're just real interested in franchisees that have a passion for pets and want to get involved with our particular business. We'd love to talk about it. That's our favorite thing. We'll talk all day about Pet Bar, and deliver the goods and let them see anything they'd like to see. We're all about transparency and trying to show everything that might make it possible for them to own their own store in their location or their community.
Yeah, no, I love that. And for the audience, I can absolutely vouch for Dan and Ashley. They're great people. So I'm a big fan of going to business with great people. And these are two of the folks to do it with for sure. But Dan, Ashley, thank you so much for being on the show. I really appreciate your time. This is a fun conversation.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Day.
Absolutely. And everybody else, thank you for listening to another episode of Behind the Franchise. And we look forward to having you on the next one. Talk to you soon.
Thank you.